All right. Okay, welcome. We are here with our friend Theresa. And Theresa, we're probably gonna have you just talk a bit about what you do, but just kind of so everyone has context, we've been interviewing some of our students that are in our Geek Out Continuity Catalyst program, and we have been helping them to really get clarity around like what it is that they're doing. How can they turn their expertise into a business? And so on this interview with Theresa, she has a really awesome story and experience that Andrea is going to also walk through. Andrea's been working pretty close with Theresa and helping her develop her umbrella framework. You guys have probably heard us mention that in the past, and Theresa has been able to use that as well. And so I think it's more, we've titled this like how to establish your authority in your expertise, because I think that's really what one of the benefits of having an umbrella framework is. So before we get any further though, Theresa, you are you teach preschoolers, which is amazing. That's a difficult job to a lot of people. And not just teach preschoolers, but you teach preschoolers reading. Do you want to say a little bit more about what it is that you've been doing, and for like the last 25 years too, which is awesome.
Right. Well, I started out teaching kindergarten, and I was teaching them to read, and then the preschool programs got federally approved, federally funding in the state of Texas where I am, and then preschool started, and I don't know who decided or how they decided, but preschool became kindergarten. So we had to start teaching them to read when they were 4 and write. So I figured it out, worked diligently and worked with my little 4-year-olds and taught them all the letters and the sounds and taught them how to blend them. And they were able to do it. It's really amazing. 4-year-olds can learn to read, so it's exciting.
Yeah.
And most of them turned 5 by the end of the school year, so it worked out fine.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I love that. I have 3 kids that have all gone through that process, and I just pretty much put my faith in like they'll figure it out. But I know that not all kids are like that, and a lot of parents they if their children are showing signs of like they're maybe not quite where they need to be, they need to have some more intervention than what they are already doing, of like I kind of need my child to be a little bit more ready for kindergarten. And so that is I think that's primarily where you focus in now. Exactly. Is really kindergarten readiness.
Yeah. Kindergarten prep, that's right. Yeah. Preschool prep. Yeah, and kindergarten prep. Yep, that's it. Yeah, because they need a little bit of guidance. Like you said, not all 5-year-olds learn to read on their own. A large majority of them need explicit instruction.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, Andrea, you've been very silent so far, so I'm going to let you kind of take over, because this is what you've been doing with Theresa, is the umbrella framework part of it.
Yeah, and I have to say your umbrella framework session was probably one of my favorites, Theresa, because I think you are so representative of so many people who are deep experts out there, right? So you've been serving the school community for 25 years. You are not just somebody who teaches preschoolers how to read. Your expertise goes so much deeper than that. And I would have never known that had I not done the umbrella framework session with you, in terms of you're bilingual, you bring sound into the equation, your approach to it is very well researched and very well thought out and very well understood. Plus, you've demonstrated it for hundreds and hundreds of students with parents over 25 years. None of these things I would have known, nor would the world have known, had we not done your umbrella framework session. And so I'm so curious from your perspective, because I saw, and this is going to be a totally leading question, but I'd love to hear your perspective. I saw what happened was you had been serving the school community for so long and just serving, but you didn't necessarily have to tell people what your expertise was. You just demonstrated your expertise with kids. But you've really, in your entrepreneurial journey and after this umbrella framework session, I feel like you've transitioned and started to transition into, like, in order to be an entrepreneur, right, and serve your business as you're serving it, like, you have to tell people what your authority is and tell people how do you know what you know. And I've just seen this massive transformation to you over the couple months. I'm curious, what do you make of that? What's your take on that? What's been your experience with that?
Well, I'm excited that I can use my expertise to create a course and teach parents how to teach their kids to read, because I've actually retired now from teaching, and so it's like I have a new phase in my life, to think about and to do, and feel like I have purpose and I can contribute. So thank y'all so much for having this opportunity to help me learn how to get this up and going.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna ask you. So I want you to go back to when we were doing your umbrella framework session,
Okay.
and I'm curious what that experience was like for you in that as we were talking through it.
When we started with the extract and clarify,
Oh yeah, yeah, going extract and clarify, and then yeah, tell me
and
about
then the umbrella framework. Yeah, I
yeah.
had no clue that yeah, it just like, oh my gosh, I have to, actually think about, these, how, what things that affect me and how I got to where I'm at and what did I do, and then create the framework of, who I'm serving, where they're at, how to what's the best way to help these parents to teach their kids. It's just really getting it out. I think is one of the things you kept saying is that it's just helping to get all this out and just dump all this stuff into this spreadsheet, and that was really good for me to do that.
It just dawned on me too, Teresa. I remember when we were doing your extract and clarify, I don't know why I forgot this, but it just dawned on me as you were talking. When we were doing your extract and clarify, we had got your umbrella framework, but we were like circling back, and I think we were working on like your origin story because you were trying to decide like, do I just serve kids or do I serve parents? And you had this like, at least for me, like you were like,
I did.
oh yeah. Do we share a little bit about that?
Yeah, because I taught kids for 25 years, so my brain was thinking I've got to teach kids. And I was trying to make the framework for the kids. And then I realized, but wait a minute, I've got to collect money. Join the membership site. It's like kids aren't going to join a membership site. It's the parents. And so I had to switch over to thinking I'm showing the parents how to teach the kids to read, that they need to help their kids um, learn how to read. Because and the other thing was the authority thing. Like I remember us having this conversation. Like parents seem to think that teachers are the ones that can only do it, and it's like no, right? Remember that when we talked
Yes,
about like,
yes.
no, I need to let the parents know that they can help their kids
Yes.
read.
And yeah, and I mean, because you could very well create a business model where you're just doing what you did in school and serving the kids, and it's like the parents drop them off, do their thing, and then collect them, right? And I think
Mhm.
you came to this during our extract and clarify of like that's not the magic recipe. Like that is just yeah. And so yeah, tell us a little bit more. Like what was that? Like why did you decide to go that direction?
Well, there's another, besides collecting money, the other hurdle is they're 4 and they're 5. And so they actually need someone to help them log on and, navigate the technology. Because, even though they're on tablets and they can do tablets, but I don't know that they would actually be able to navigate all
Mhm.
the program, for learning how to read.
Yeah. Well, and you so don't have to share the details if you don't want to. That's totally fine. But I remember you also had this like epiphany during that session of just your own childhood and then why you're doing what you're doing. Like, really working with the parents to bridge that connection to help the kid. And I thought that was awesome too of like again it just to me came from such a deeper place of
Mhm.
not just service because this is what I know and I know how to serve kids, but from a this is how I want to change the world. And that was so cool
Yeah,
when
that
I
is
did that.
personal. Yeah, it did touch a really personal spot. Reading, what I've discovered all these years, reading to the kids, because I did read alouds every day with my pre-K kids,
Yeah.
and they really get bonded, like, oh, read that again, oh, I like that, that kind of stuff. And so there was a bonding, like as a parent reading to a child,
Mhm.
like there's a type of bonding that goes on. And over the years, I realized that I didn't have that as a child, and so I wanted to encourage. parents to read aloud to their kids as often as possible to create memories and to have that bonding time. It's kind of special for parents so that when you get older, you'll have those memories and
Yeah.
kids will say, oh, yeah, I remember reading that book with you, Mom.
Yeah. And I remember, I think, putting on that entrepreneur hat, I remember when you came to that and you shared that, which took a lot of vulnerability and deep digging. I feel like at that moment, there was never a question again of like, am I serving kids? Am I serving parents? Am I serving kids? Am I serving parents? Right? Like it was like that moment where never again have we had that conversation. It has always been, I'm serving parents to help them teach their kids learn. Yeah. It was just like the conviction for which you speak now, right? Like it's unwavering because it's something deeper. And that's what that extract and clarify, I think, is intending to do. And you just
So
exemplify it so
important,
well.
yes.
Yeah.
To get clear on who I'm serving, what my message is, right?
Yeah. Okay, I have one more question for you. So when we were doing the umbrella framework, again, I think I was blown away, as I oftentimes with a lot of people who are deep experts, of just your depth of expertise. It was like, oh my gosh, why aren't you talking about this more? You are brilliant. And so it was like, I'm curious because I know that you're like, exercising the content muscle, and that exercise is hard, which I so appreciate. But I'm curious, when you go to create the content, like how does your umbrella framework help you, or like what's been that journey using that?
It's a map, and it's I guess in school we called it benchmark. So when you get to a certain point, you know that they can move to the next point. So that's what really helps with the frameworks. It's a map. It's a benchmark. That they've learned this much, and now we can move on to this, and then we can move on to this now.
Yes.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I love that benchmark concept. I haven't applied it to the umbrella frameworks, but that totally makes sense. Yes. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. So cool.
And you always talk about rewards or, the gaming. And it's like, I've got to be sure to put that in there that they won this or they're going to get a little reward for those things.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Especially because you have quite a solid framework to take people through that will, like, there's no doubt in my mind that if a parent actually follows that, they would be able to help their kid learn how to read. It's amazing.
There you go. That's right. Yep, they can.
Yep.
I can read. I know.
Yep. Amazing. Okay, so Theresa, if people want to learn more about you, where do they go? How do they find out more about you? How do they get into your world?
Okay, so my little preschoolers are heroes. It's preschoolhero.com, right?
Yep, you got it.
There you go. Preschoolhero.com.
Yes.
They are learning to read, and it's a big, major accomplishment in their life, to learn how to read, and then it helps them be prepared for school, and then they have to go through that whole transition of going to school. And once they get to school and they know they can read, that will give them the confidence that they need to succeed and do well.
And just your whole approach is you're so supportive of the parent. It's so fun. It's so interesting. It's unique. It's different. It's solid. It's based on 25 years of experience, and there's a clear map. I mean, you can't go wrong. It's amazing.
Yeah. You guys are wonderful. Thank y'all so much for your help.
Thanks.
Gosh,
well,
pleasure.
Thank you for being in our community. And you have Marika. She is saying, good morning, Queens. We have Jason watching, and he said, hi, Theresa. Nice to see you. It's been so long. People are like, it's Theresa.
She's live.
Oh my gosh, you guys are not telling me I'm live. We're doing turning red now.
You're gorgeous.
I know, the secret's out. So sorry, Theresa. I was keeping it a little bit of a secret when we were doing this. I didn't want to freak you out, but we made it through. You did amazing.
Oh my gosh, if I can do it now, I can. If I've done
yes,
this,
exactly. You can do it. So for all of you watching, Theresa is you guys talked about extract and clarify to umbrella framework. We do have an event coming up here. We'll make you not like the prominent person on the screen anymore, Theresa. But if you want to join we're having an event next week where we are, let's see, go to funnelsforsmartpeople.com. you can get signed up. And we did, if you've recently, like in the last, if it was like before Monday, if you have visited this site, we have changed the offer. And so we were like, we really just want more people to access this extract and clarify process. So we split our offer up. We were doing it for like $397. You get the event and umbrella framework. We'll create it for you. But we really just want to make it so easy for you guys to say yes. So we split that offer up. So we're actually only charging $7 for the event. So go sign up for $7 for the event. And then if you still want to have us do create your umbrella framework for you, there's an offer on the next page if you want to do that. Because we really want people to come to the event, and really the extract and clarify is step one. It's so valuable. You heard it right here with Theresa of how it was able to help her focus in on who she was serving, how she was serving them. And more than that, Andrea, if you want to take it from here of extract and clarify the importance of that, of putting you into your business.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it really is that. I think Theresa exemplified it perfectly of just, I think that there is the why do you do what you do as a surface level that we get a lot, but I think the extract and clarify, it forces you to go deep to be like, no kidding. Why do you do what you do? And and I think once you find that, it's this endless power supply to keep going. And that's really the goal of it. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. If you guys have any questions, or remember to connect in with Theresa, you can go to preschoolhero.com and let us know in the comments if you have any questions for us or Theresa. If you're like, I'm a parent, I need this, connect in with her in the comments too if you need to.
Yes.
Okay. Theresa, thanks so much for joining us and being with us today. We super appreciate you. And any other things, Andrea?
No, other than just thank you, Theresa. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. We will see you all next time.